I've told you that there are really only three kinds of people in the world today. There are people that are coming out of a crisis. There are people that are going into a crisis. And there are people that are in a crisis. If you're in a crisis today, good. You're going to come out of it. If you're coming out of it, great. One day you'll go back into another one. Trouble is a part of life. Now, I want you to understand the reality of trouble simply means that there's nothing you can do to escape it. You and I live in a broken, fallen world, and as a result of that, we're broken. And we have trouble. And there is no cure. There is nothing I can do to escape the trouble that we face. So let me just say this to you before I go to the next point. Because trouble is real and the reality of trouble, let me just give you 3 bits of advice with regard to the reality of trouble. Number 1, since it is a reality, don't manufacture it. Since trouble's going to come your way anyway, don't go looking for it. It's amazing to me how many folks go looking for trouble. You create trouble in your own life. You don't have to create trouble. It'll come to you. It will find you, so don't create trouble, don't manufacture it, don't look for it. I heard the story of a guy who went to see his doctor and he'd been given, the doctor says, I've got bad news for you. All the results of the test have come back and you have got 6 months to live. And he said, well, is there anything I can do? And he said, well, yeah, there is. You can marry a widow who has 10 kids, buy a hog farm, and put your television on C-SPAN and leave it there 24 hours a day. And he said, will that make things better? He said, no, but it'll make that 6 months feel like 10 years, man. Listen, there are some of you who have problems today because you went looking for it. So don't go looking for it. It'll find you, all right? Secondly, let me just say this, in the reality of problems, don't minimize the problems that other people have. One of the problems that I see among Christians is that sometimes we have a tendency to minimize the challenges that other people are facing. We do it in one of 2 ways. We either say, well, you know, you're going through but that's nothing compared to what I went through. Well, I'm going through a tough, well, let me tell you, you think that's bad? Let me tell you about my tough times. Let me tell you about my experience. Listen, don't minimize the challenges and troubles that other people are having. It's not our job. And in fact, the 2 ways that we have a tendency to do that is to put ourselves in a position to say that we're bigger, my problems are bigger than your problems. Don't minimize the problems of others and don't judge others by the problems that they have.